The boy just gave the small plane a push. Unexpectedly, the small plane crashed into the bucket and even pushed the bucket forward as if it had a life of its own. He had a bold idea in his mind. He found a ladder and then took the small plane to the roof, fantasizing that the small plane could take him flying in the sky. At this moment, his mother came up and grabbed him, and the small plane fell to the ground. Thus, danger was approaching them. When they got to the living room, the mother severely criticized the boy, saying that he couldn't touch the small plane in the future. Then she locked the small plane in the storage room. Even though the boy kept pleading, the mother didn't soften her heart. While the two were arguing about what had just happened, suddenly, something terrifying occurred. The small plane crashed through the window and flew around the room. The mother picked up a mop, ready to shoot down the plane, but this action made the plane even angrier. At this time, the small plane emitted a red light and flew towards her. The mother was so scared that she let out a scream, and the boy was so frightened that he hugged his mother. But unexpectedly, the anger of the small plane gradually subsided. Still in the fear of what had just happened, the mother asked the boy to take the plane back to his room. Later, the mother was still worried, so she called her friend and told her everything that had happened. After discussing with her friend, while the boy was sound asleep, they secretly took the small plane. After a careful examination, they didn't find anything special. Then the man scratched the fuselage with a small knife. Unexpectedly, the shell of the plane was so hard that the knife didn't leave any marks. The man had no idea what to do, so he took the plane back to the laboratory for a more detailed study. However, after checking the system, there were no components inside the plane. They were at a loss and then took the small plane under the hydraulic press. The test results shocked them. Facing the damage of the hydraulic press, the surface of the plane didn't have any scratches. On the other side, the boy also found that the small plane had been taken away. In order to save the plane, he broke into the laboratory in the middle of the night. While the man was on the phone, he hid the small plane and waited for an opportunity to escape. When the man turned around, he found that the small plane had disappeared. He also noticed that there seemed to be someone hiding behind the cabinet. He realized that the boy had come to steal the plane. Just as he was about to step forward and ask, the cabinet beside him shook and crashed towards him. The boy took the opportunity to run towards the door. Seeing this, the man quickly pulled the alarm, and the experimental base soon went on alert. The boy used his father's work ID in his hand and ran to the roof of the laboratory. At this time, he had a bold idea and made a crazy decision. He tied the small plane to his body and then climbed to the highest place of the base. Holding the small plane in his arms, a miraculous scene happened. He actually took off and started flying.